First of all, Tropical Storm Debby is going to be a meaningful rain event with real risk of flooding, and on top of that, wind risk as well. But we're primarily worried about rain and flooding. I have to say the preparations have been very encouraging. We pre-positioned, I think, really important resources, but we're continuing over the course of the day to readjust as needed.
We begin the news at 4:30 with that weather impact alert. That was Virginia Governor Glenn Youngkin talking about the emergency preparations in place in the Commonwealth as Tropical Storm Debby heads our way.
That's right. Maryland Governor Wes Moore also activating a plan in Maryland to prepare for Debby. Right now, the storm is hovering right over the Carolinas. You can see it's bringing heavy rain and flooding. So far, we're learning that 6 people have died.
Yeah, when our team issues a weather impact alert, that means dangerous and/or inconvenient weather is headed our way. Meteorologist Topper Shutt is keeping a close eye on Debby's impacts on the DMV. Topper, we want to start with the remnants of the storm. We understand that we're really going to start to see things kind of kick off tomorrow.
Here we are, and we've sort of adjusted our alert, Larry. So we have it for tomorrow and Friday. We've taken Saturday morning out of the mix because it's moving a little faster. So this is the latest update, and we'll have one for you in about a half an hour. So it has winds of 60 miles per hour, so it's a pretty healthy tropical storm. It's about 50 miles east-southeast of Charleston, South Carolina, moving northeast at 3. That's almost stationary. By 8 o'clock tomorrow morning, winds will be down to 50 as it moves inland, goes to the east of Columbia, goes between Raleigh and Charlotte, and then it's going to go well to the west of us. So by about 8 o'clock Friday morning, it's sort of down in the Roanoke area, and then it really accelerates west, almost over Hagerstown, and then off into upstate New York. So anywhere east of this track, and again, the red line is the track, this is the cone, we run the risk of severe weather. We're not super concerned about it, but I want to kind of put that out there. That would be Thursday night into Saturday morning. Now, we also have some showers right now, generally east of town. These are not severe, but they have heavy downpours. This one is weakened a little bit in Upper Marlboro, but still a pretty good storm. Downpour down toward Indian Head. But you're still driving down 301. You're going to still see some, wet roads and limited visibility. This is a little stronger shower out toward Indian Head, just south of Woodbridge. It's drifting northward, and I mean just barely drifting northward. Okay, let's go back to the southeast. There is the center of the storm. There are the main feeder bands, but we see feeder bands up into Norfolk, and really we see them almost all the way up to Richmond. These are feeder bands not associated with the cold front that we're looking at. So we do have a flood watch, and this is telling. It is west of town. Not to say we're not going to get probably 1 to 2 inches of rain, but as we said yesterday, the bullseye, so to speak, is out along I-81, Winchester, Hagerstown, that area. And again, that flood watch goes until 8 o'clock on Friday night. So the rain potential, look at this. This is just more than 7 inches in Wilmington through the Piedmont of North Carolina and up into our area by Friday night. We'll see several inches to the west of town. So as Tropical Storm Debby turns over the Atlantic off the Carolinas and Georgia, the storm continues to dump heavy rain. That's only expected to get stronger as it moves toward our area. CBS's Christian Benavides is in the Carolinas with a look at the damage.
So it was a real loud boom, and it rocked the house.
Shakina Conyers told us she and her 4 children woke up Tuesday with a downed tree in their home as Tropical Storm Debby slammed Savannah with powerful winds and up to 10 inches of rain.
It's overwhelming, of course, because this is me and my kids' livelihood.
The heavy rains turned roads into rivers across coastal Georgia as Debby churned northeast with as much as 25 inches of rain expected by Friday in parts of the Carolinas. This was the scene in Charleston where floodwaters covered neighborhood streets and front yards.
We're confident there's going to be flooding. We're confident there's going to be a lot of rain. The only question is how much is it going to be?
In Florida, where Debby made landfall as a Category 1 hurricane Monday, Natalie Haney was cleaning up after the storm tore the roof off of her mother's florist shop.
And so we've got ceiling tiles are falling through and the floor tiles were coming up, and floors are soaking wet. So everything's pretty much ruined inside.
Debby also spawned at least 2 tornadoes in South Carolina, leaving behind a trail of destruction.
All right, I'm 6'1". We got about 2.5 feet.
Military veteran Curtis Drafton, a North Carolina resident, said he came down to Charleston to help people in flood-prone areas.
We had 17 distress calls just by walking the streets. Low water rescue, thankfully, so we walked the majority of them out. We only had one lady we used the raft on.
We're about 80 miles inland here in Lumberton, North Carolina. This community was left underwater in 2016 and 2018 due to hurricanes. Officials here not taking any chances. They're reinforcing this earth wall ahead of heavy rainfall. North Carolina is under a state of emergency. Cristian Benavides, CBS News, Lumberton, North Carolina.
As we mentioned earlier, in Virginia, Governor Glenn Youngkin declaring a state of emergency ahead of Debbie's possible impact. The Commonwealth is getting equipment and resources in place to combat that heavy rainfall and strong winds that might come with this tropical storm.
Right now, the city of Alexandria is giving away free sandbags to its residents. That's where we find our John Duran currently. John, we can imagine it's pretty busy out there as people get ready for the storm.
Yeah, Larry, we're seeing a steady flow of cars showing up for these free sandbags. A couple takers actually right now. Here's how it works. You pull up, pop your trunk, and these guys drop some sandbags in. We've already seen a pallet of these go down. It was a big rush at 3 o'clock when this opened up. This is the Department of Transportation and Environmental, or rather, the Environmental Services, facility on South Quaker Lane. So Alexandria residents just have to prove your residency or your place of business here. You get free sandbags in the back of your trunk. I actually spoke to a woman who was grabbing sandbags for a neighbor, an elderly neighbor that wasn't able to make it out here today. City's provided 2 other locations as well to pick up some sandbags earlier in the day. They're making sure people have some defense against what Tropical Storm Debby may bring over the next few days. And Alexandria, especially Old Town, has a history of flooding. Spoke to some residents picking up sandbags this afternoon who are preparing for the worst, but hoping Debbie isn't too nasty.
I don't know. I'm hoping not, so that's why I'm not going to take any chances.
At the end of our street, it's just come pouring down there. And even without it being Debbie and severe storms in our block, because we have the old source, hasn't been replaced, struggling to get it done by the city. But they're 6 inches, can't handle the surge. So the flooding can be awful.
And again, this is the Department of Transportation and Environmental Services facility on South Quaker Lane. This is going to be open until 7 o'clock. Free sandbags if you are an Alexandria resident. The city also, or Alexandria also says it'll add more locations if need be. I'll send it back to you guys in the studio.
We see frequent flooding in that area when we see storms like this, and those sandbags go a long way in keeping property safe. John Duran, thank you so much. Well, now is a great time to download our free WUSA 9 mobile app to get started. Take out your phone, point your phone's camera at the QR code on your screen, and then tap the link that pops up. Now, don't forget to turn on your push notifications. That way you won't miss any breaking news or weather impact alerts when we issue them.